Hi everybody, and welcome back to Be Like Christ. In today's video, we're going to talk about Matthew chapter 7, verse 7 through 10. Before we read this text, let me point your attention to some of Jesus' words in Matthew chapter 18. You remember that text where Jesus says, those who enter the kingdom of heaven will be those who are like little children, humble like little children. Keep that in mind as we take a look at this text in Matthew chapter 7 on the Sermon on the Mount. Ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and it will be opened to you. For everyone who asks receives, and the one who seeks finds, and to the one who knocks it will be opened. Or which one of you, if his son asks him for bread, will give him a stone? Or if he asks for a fish, will give him a serpent? If you then, who are evil, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father who is in heaven give good things to those who ask him? Jesus here sets before our mind a picture of a father and a son. He's the father, we're the son, and we are a child who needs something. And God is the Father who has the provision to provide. And there's an invitation in Jesus' first statement in verse 7 to come and ask the Father for the things that we need. And I don't see any indication here, as some people suggest, that Jesus is only referring to necessities of life. In fact, it seems to be that if we are seeking to serve God, that this is really an invitation to ask for anything that will assist us in that service. And that alone, if we just stop there, is an incredible promise, and maybe one that we don't emphasize as much as we should. We have a God who stands capable of enabling us to do anything. And he is making us an offer and a promise here to empower us. The only thing that we need to do is ask him. But my question in this video is, do we ask him? Have you ever had a thought about something that needs done in the church? Or maybe it's an opportunity in your community to glorify God. Or maybe as a congregation, you've recognized that there's a gap somewhere that needs to be filled. And after recognizing that need, did you think to yourself, I'd really like to do something about that? But after looking around at your talents and your resources, you thought to yourself, well, I just don't think that I'm the man or the woman for that job. I don't have that skill set. I'm just not the right kind of person to be good at that. And my question to you in this video is, well, did you ask? Did you ask to be the kind of person that you need to be in order to accomplish that work? Our problem is that too often we spend all of our time evaluating our resources. And we forget entirely about Matthew chapter 7, verse 7, where God says, I'm here to make up for what you're lacking. Think about David fighting Goliath, or Gideon fighting the Midianites. The whole point of the story is that God was going to make up what was deficient in his heroes that he chose to use. Here is an open invitation from Jesus to come to his Father and ask for the things that we lack. But we have to take advantage of that. It's easy to fall into a church culture or a type of Christianity that is fueled by me rather than him. And I'm sure the devil loves that because he can beat you and I all day, but he can't beat God. So if we're going to be successful, especially in a culture that is moving away from God, we've got to rely on him more and more. Jesus then goes on to talk about how even earthly fathers know how to give good gifts to their children. They try to give their children everything that they need, and they also try to protect them from things that might harm them. Think about this in terms of healthy food versus junk food. Parents make their children eat healthy food. My parents made me eat broccoli. I hated broccoli when I was a kid. I still hate broccoli as an adult. It's disgusting. Don't ever make anyone broccoli. But it's important to understand why parents do that. The only thing that I wanted to eat as a child was Fun Dip and Sour Patch Kids. And so what I thought that I needed and what I would ask for at any meal, if I knew I could get it, was, just give me some Fun Dip and Sour Patch Kids. Because as a child, you don't understand the effect that that's going to have on you long term. You don't realize that your body can't be sustained off of packets of sugar and sugar sticks piled on more sugar. But unfortunately for you, your parents do understand that, so they try to feed you broccoli. Because they want you to grow strong, they want you to grow tall, they want you in every way to reach your fullest potential, and they'll do what it takes in order to help you to get there. And so it is with God. God has made us for a purpose, and he wants to help us to be all that we were made to be as God-glorifying, Christ-image-bearing beings. And so we really ought to take this promise of Jesus at face value. If someone is pursuing God, why would God not give to the one who asks, or help the seeker to find, or open the door for the one who knocks? Jesus' point is that God is going to do all of those things to help you to become the person that he wants you to be and that he made you to be. But you may be saying, well, hold on a second. I understand that to some extent, but at the same time, I can't just ask for whatever I want and it's going to fall into my lap, right? And I think the answer to that kind of question is the fact that I think implied in this text is also the idea that God is going to keep us away from the sugar. God is going to keep us away from things that can harm us. And while just like me at the dinner table as a child thought that the one thing that I needed in that moment was a giant pile of Fun Dip, I didn't really need that. And so it is with us today. Oftentimes we pray, and maybe our intentions are good. God, give me this, or enable me to do this. But God knows the long-term effects that we can't always see. And so some of the things that we ask for, God as the perfect parent doesn't give to us, because ultimately he knows that perhaps that might rot our souls over time, or we might fall prey to greed, or we might fall prey to pride. And so he keeps those destructive things from us, but gives us the good things that will help us to be the person he wants us to be. And a wise child understands that their parents have their best intention in mind. And Jesus comes back to this idea that your earthly fathers could do this for you. They could help you and give you good things that were going to be good for you. How much more can the Creator Father do that for you? He's never going to make a mistake. He doesn't have bad parenting slip-ups, right? He's perfect. And as long as you trust him and humble yourself like a child to trust him, then he's going to take care of you. So in summary to this text in this video, when you're a child, you don't always have everything that you need. And you know where to go in order to get that. You go to your parents who have the resources to help you. And as Christians, as children of God, we have to go to God in order to empower us and enable us and to provide for us as we walk down this Christian road. Thank you for watching the video. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do that. Leave a comment down below. I've had a bunch of good comments here lately. Keep that up. And hit that like button. Don't hit the dislike button.